Hey guys, how's it going here? I'm Solar, and this is my very first pro League of Legends commentary. This commentary is going to be for the Garena League of Legends Shoutcasting and writing contest. So this is going to be my Shoutcast entry. The game that I am commentating happened about 1.5 weeks ago. This is a tournament game. It's not a personal game. It's from Go For All Pro Asia, and the teams are World Elite and CG. I don't know CG very well, so WE versus CG. And so without further ado, let's get on with it. So on CG side, we're gonna have Graves, Mundo, Rise, Tariq, and Vladimir. And on World Elite side, we're gonna have Corky, Lulu, Cassiopeia, Shyvana, and Kennen. I don't know the CG players very well, but it's going to be, let me pause this. It's going to be Wei Xiao on the Corky, If on the Lulu, Messiah, he's the captain on Cassiopeia, YJTM on Shyvana, and CM on Kennen. And I know Wish is Rise, for CG, Wish is Rise, Wind is Graves, and I don't know the other players. Well, I don't know any of them, but I don't even know their names. So both teams gonna come down to bottom. Gonna throw some poke down. It's actually very tense at level 1. Mundo might be a little bit cut out here, but he's gonna back off. No big deal. World Elite actually gonna camp inside this bush, but CG have it warded. Very unorthodox ward. Don't usually see that there. I think CG have been watching World Elite's playstyle and have been seeing that come in. And we're gonna come in. Corey getting caught a snare and Ignite going down. Ooh, and Corky's gonna get first blood. World Elite do not want to fight this 4v5, so they are wisely going to back off. So that is the first blood, and it is almost 1:30. Minions are going to be spawning, so everybody should be heading to lane. So let's see. Final lane should be doing some golem pulls. Ooh, very nice pull by Tariq. Stunning across the wall so that the golem can take extra damage from Graves' auto attacks. Not too bad of a trick there. Mundo is going to head to, he's actually going to his red because he backed after the first blood, and then after that and Shyvana actually going to go to the wolves followed by blue. So he is one camp ahead, but it's no trade in favor of compared to the first blood, which is the gold of 1 kill plus 400 gold. Pretty significant. Let me maximize and full screen this. Okay, so Graves gonna get some early damage onto Corky, but he's gonna pot it up. Shouldn't be such big of a deal. Okay, so no real counter jungles. This is a YouTube video, by the way, so I do not have control of the camera. This is actually going to be Joe Miller's camera usage, so I am stuck with whatever he is on and whatever he was talking about. Actually no. This is actually the Chinese commentary. So whoever the Garena Taiwan commentator is going to be controlling the camera. So since it's going to be a passive phase, let's talk about the laning. Up top we have Vladimir versus Kennen, and it's gonna be, I feel it's quite an even lane, and it's really based on the playstyle of the players and how well they play. It was based on jungle ganks as well. Can influence the top lane quite well, so actually, if you notice, when Vladimir put the ward down, Kennen actually pinged where the ward was, so that the jungler immediately knows how he can gank and how he cannot gank. So pretty smart communication there. Mid lane is going to be Rise versus Cassiopeia. Shyvana looking to counter jungle the Wraiths, but not getting any because Mundo clears just too fast. Rise versus Cassiopeia. I feel that Cassiopeia does outlane Rise. She is the classic counter, but lately we've been seeing a lot less Cassiopeias in game because she has taken some small nerfs, and Rise players with their movement speed specs and 9-0-21 have been able to survive decently against Cassiopeias lately, so not such of a strong shutdown anymore. More of a pick that's sort of trending out. And at bottom we have on camera Graves Taric versus Corky Lulu. Again, this is mostly equal. Bottom lanes are more or less due to play rather than bottom lanes are more or less due to play rather than counter picks per se. Although I do feel that Graves Taric has the better early game, just because of the stun into a buckshot, whereas Corky Lulu has a much stronger late game. But we'll see how that plays out. It is mostly equal and skill based. So mostly a pretty passive farming session. We gotta watch the junglers and see what they're doing. Shyvana going for the steal. She has been seen by the ward there, so she noticed Rise coming in and is going to back off quite wisely right there. So Shyvana knows that there is a ward somewhere on the right side river. Not going to go for steal for possibly another few minutes. And even more passive laning. I actually want to see how the solo lanes are doing, because the bottom lane is probably going to be the most passive on early out of all the lanes. Yep, and there goes top. Some nice exchanges, but seems to be about equal. Actually, Rise, maybe having the one level advantage, appears to be equal on with Cassiopeia. So either Rise is doing a really good job, Wish I believe it is, CG Wish on Rise. Shyvana looking for a steal right here. Blue is not up for CG, so Rise. Nope, not going to cancel the back, but she is going to steal wolves. And I believe that because Shyvana showed her face, CG do have vision, so they're not going to contest the wolves. They're just going to let Shyvana take it. It only spawns in 50 seconds, so Mundo's just like, whatever. Not going to try to contest wolves against a Shyvana who is a pretty strong duelist in the jungle early on. And even more farming going on. I'm not sure if you noticed, but it was initially CG versus LOH here, instead of versus WE. So Joe Miller, not Joe Miller. I keep forgetting. The Chinese commentators have just changed that. More farming up at top. And Shyvana going in for yet another counter jungle. I'm not sure if Mundo's red is up. Mundo's red is not going to be up, so she's not going to find anything, and she's just going to walk back. Mundo actually just coming out of base, so if his buff was up, then he would have been unable to control it. But Shyvana's red is up. Ooh. I'm not quite sure what Grave is doing there. Maybe he misclicked or something, but he just altered nothing. Ooh, Shyvana might be a little bit caught out. There is a Mundo and a Rise there, but she's just going to use burnout, dodge, skill shots, and back off. But blue has spawned for CG, so I think they're going to come in for a steal. Kind of going to come in from the other side. CG are going to back off. Vladimir is not in position to do anything, and WE get a blue. So it's 1-0, CG are a kill ahead, but World Elite have a blue. and they are actually about 200 gold ahead. 300 gold ahead, wow. Can't see the CS because I'm running full screen and my resolution is significantly higher than the video's resolution. If you've not realized that this is a video, so it's kind of hard for me to see the CS, but I'm assuming World Elite are much farther ahead than CG are in terms of CS. Kennen actually, if you've been watching the minimap, Kennen has actually been pushing Vladimir extremely hard. So Savannah with double boss, possibly looking for a gank, but instead just decides to back off. No big deal. Mostly in the laning phase, top teams do not want to risk doing anything or getting killed. Ooh, actually World Elite taking the wolves. Not very common. You usually see like the mid or like a solo lane who has to steal the jungler's buffs, or sorry, the jungler's camps. Lulu clearing out the wards up dragon, so it looks like they're going to contest that soon. Actually a ping from CG going down, so they do realize that it's being cleared. Vladimir getting extremely low. One more shuriken or W from Kennen and that would have been done for Vladimir. And World League going to go in for this dragon. CG do not have ward vision, so and they're gonna get the dragon. CG decided not to contest this. They probably guessed, or they could guess that World League were going to take the dragon at some point, but they decided not to do anything about it. Like I said, it's really safe play, pretty standard for tournaments. You try to risk as little as possible. Because if you risk something and you make a mistake, then it ends up turning back on you, and that's not very good. Lots of damage going on in bottom lane. Graves heading out to half HP, but now Tarek is quite out of position because Graves dashed out. Tarek flashes. One more, and okay, it's going to be Damho X. I must have learned his name. Damho on the Tarek. Going down to a really, really nice play on Weixiao's part. Combining the auto attack with the missile to get it out, and actually lots of damage going down onto Vladimir. But Rise is coming top looking for a gank. Kennen is out of position and he has no sight. So this could very much possibly be a successful gank. Vladimir all goes down, Rise snare, ooh, Vladimir pool, and that is a dead Kennen. I actually didn't even need to ult at that point. Lots of poke going down mid lane onto Mundo. Pops his ult for the force to it, and Shabannah's gonna come in, and it looks like they're gonna push down the turret. Yes. So one kill in exchange for one turret because Rise was not in position to defend. Why is it on full screen? Mathematically, this is a stronger trade for World Elite because 150 gold across the team versus 300 gold split across the two members who got the kill. And Shabannah is going to steal red here, but Mundo knows he's gonna go to come in, and actually Rise is there as well. Whoops. Snare gonna come in, and Shabannah drags out, but Tarek stun catches her, and they're 4-man onto Shabannah. She's getting extremely low. Ignite goes down, Graves ult goes down, and one more cleaver, and that is dead Shabannah. So red buff going back. It's wind on Graves getting the red buff, and you do not want Graves with a red buff. So that's not too bad for CG's part, but it doesn't matter because World are going to charge in. Corki not failing the Valkyrie a little bit, crashing into the wall right there. Otherwise he could very possibly get a kill onto Tarek. Wow, but at Corki Lulu lane, we have not seen much of this from North American or European games, but a Corki Lulu lane actually appearing extremely strong, or it might just be their gameplay, but so far, wow. It's a CC from Lulu combined with the double passive. I believe that Kenao gonna come in. They're gonna try to steal the blue, and actually, are they gonna get blue? Cassiopeia, but Rise Snare has come in. Vlad's gonna get really low, but Cassiopeia is gonna go down. Shyvana chasing Rise with 50 HP. Shyvana's gonna go down. Rise getting a kill on Cassiopeia, has the blue, but man, there's nothing that Kennen can do about it. That's actually extremely strong play on Rise right there. Immediately flashing out of the Kennen ult and then just kiting his way down to below 50 HP and still kiting out Shyvana and ending up getting the kill onto Cassiopeia. That was just some pro play right there, man. We are electric if you follow Dota 1. So Kennen gonna continue pressuring the lane. Even poking out Moon to get him extremely low. So pretty good play on Kennen right there. Notice that it's actually an AD Kennen. He has 2 Doran's Blades, Berserker's Greaves, and a Zeal. So and be 2 AD carries for World Elite. I'm not sure how that's gonna play out in team fights, because AD Kennen, yes, he has the ulti and he can attack really fast and stun really fast, but how much work it actually does is yet to be said, because you're gonna have 2 AD carries and you need to protect 2 AD carries. So more just farming. Generally during these farming stages, if you're running like a clan or like a pre-made team, it's not really farming, like just like miscellaneously farming. You're waiting for the next objective to come up, or the next opportunity to gank. Actually, 5 men gonna come down to mid. Worldly are not in position to defend this. So they're going to back off and let CG take a turret, and G actually they're about 2,000 gold behind, but they're really pulling these back. They're 3 kills ahead. They've done some pretty nice control of all their buffs. Although Worldly managed to steal the first one, managed to give Rise the second actually, and I don't know why Cassiopeia actually lost her own blue as well as the enemy blue to Rise. So, and in contest the dragon, but really get the dragon, but Shyvana ult comes in, Kennen ult comes in, Vladimir ults 3 people, getting them all extremely low. 2 people down on CG, but all 5 members on Worldly are extremely low. Lulu goes down. Corki actually doing a really nice job, but Exhaust goes down on Corki, and it's a 3-for-2 exchange. However, World Elite did get the dragon. So about equal there, but World Elite are still ahead because 1 dragon is worth more than 1 kill. So World Elite doing extremely well on the gold game, but now CG Wind on Graves with a blue buff is going to challenge the turret, and Kennen is not going to do anything about it. So quite a close game so far. World Elite do have a gold advantage, but CG are proving that yes, they can win the team fights because they have Vladimir and with the ult, and they have Rise, who is just so damaging right now. Just look at the pain that he was putting across, man. OP. So now more passive farming. Like I said, during these passive farming stages, it's not really passive. And looking for the next objective, like the next dragon, or actually Baron is up already. It's past the 15-minute mark, so I could challenge a Baron as well. Or buffs are another objective, so you challenge those, or you could just be waiting for, like, say, your 80 carry to farm the next big item. Like Corki has an Infinity Edge and some crit gloves, and he just built it into a Zeal. So maybe after he completes like a Triforce or a Phantom Dancer, then And then they will attempt to go for a push because Corki has the next big item and he's slightly ahead of Graves. So maybe in a time Corki gets a Triforce, then Graves only has maybe a Zeal. So Corki will be ahead, and that will allow them to push and possibly win a fight. So objectives, and Lulu has an Oracle, so they're going to be clearing out wards, which is very bad for CG. As you can see, they're putting significantly more defensive wards in that position, and there are 5 people from World Elite up top. They're looking to take down this tier 1 tower. 3 people from CG are going to be defending this. See Vladimir and Tarek down with the bottom of the minimap. Ooh, and actually you see Mundo split pushing up top. Mid actually. Ooh, Mundo and Graves actually getting the turret really low. There actually might be like an inhib race or a base race right here. This is going to be it's going to be pretty exciting. Inhibitor going down. Is Jennifer Willie gonna back? No, they're gonna down Inhibitor and the Mac, but it's not. But they're not gonna stop in time for the 2 members from CG to get this. So I'm not quite sure what both teams are thinking. I'm assuming that because CG saw 4 people up top, so they just thought, yeah, why don't we split push them? They're not gonna get an advantage over us. So be careful. Well, at real defensive position, ooh, Vice Flash catches Lulu extremely out of position. Lulu just gets blown up, and that is a 4v5 here. CG are now looking, but in the mentality of CG, they are now looking to possibly take Baron because they are 4v5. They've caught 1 person out of position. Also, keep in mind that Lulu had Oracles, so that is going to lose Lulu 400 gold, putting Tariq up ahead even more. Although he wasn't ahead in the first place, so. And there's gonna be some more farming going on. Pretty passive game so far, but all the exchanges have been pretty mixed. You saw World Elite winning early and actually winning at least 2 of 3 of their lanes, but CG actually coming back and winning the team fights, just putting so much damage on with Rise and Mundo and Vladimir. I am very impressed. I don't know CG very well, but I am very impressed with how they've been playing so far. World Elite are one of my favorite teams, and these guys are showing that they can really stand up to them. So Corki just gonna clear out the minion waves, no big deal. Checking the CS, Corki actually 235 it looks like, compared to Graves 208, but Graves is like 4 like 4 kills and 2 assists, whereas Corki only has 3 kills. So Graves is, so they're actually gonna be pretty much on par. Graves actually selling a Doran's Blade to get Cloak of Agility, which gives a significant amount of critical chance, whereas Corki still has 3 Doran's Blades. So it's gonna do some poking out here, 5-man poke. Worldly wisely using the ramp vision to help them poke this out. But CG have put up the ward up there, which Lulu just killed. So, and Dragon is up again. Worldly looking to take another Dragon, and yes they do. This is their 3rd Dragon of the game. CG not going to contest this. They're looking to just push, I think, or possibly go for Baron, or head back and farm. It appears to be their decision of choice. Yes, this is it. Yes, both teams, apparently this match is very important to them, so they are playing extremely safe right now. Chinese tryhards, as they call it. Always tryharding. I hear that Chinese teams, even in like scrims, they try extremely hard. Like, Like they will pick serious and they will play serious. Even in like the tiniest of matches. So it's a pretty interesting ethic. If you notice, like North American teams, European teams, they will purposely pick badly, or like not really badly, but they'll purposely pick what they're not going to use in tournaments, so that if they play against a team that they're running in tournaments, that they will not let out their secrets or like their strategies. But the Chinese are the reverse. They're just like, no, we're going to always practice exactly what we're gonna run in tournaments, and we're gonna play the exact same way no matter what. So CG looking to take the blue buff here. It's probably gonna go to Rise, and Ward trying to be cleared by World Lead, but CG are defending quite well. It's gonna be some poke pressuring out for Baron. Shavana landed E down on Muno, gonna reduce his armor, but Muno's a tank, so it doesn't matter much. CG falling back for some reason, and I'm not quite sure what to do. World Elite going to push out the mid lane. This is one thing that you really want to do. If you're like poking out at Baron, you just send one guy in the back, like possibly like 80k or something, to go and push out, right? Because it forces them to defend, and then once they defend, you can go and contest Baron. So World Elite playing extremely smart here. Of course, the difference is that the trade-off or the risk that you're taking is that that person is going to be out of position if the enemy team decides to jump on you. So World Elite looking like they're in position for Baron here, but CG are just going to come back and push out the lane and continue contesting the dragon. Cassiopeia has to be really careful right here. One cleave, and I don't get it. Why did she run there? So 4-man from World Elite running there. Cassiopeia gonna get caught out by the Rise Snare and the Target Stun, and yes, that is a dead Messiah. I believe that is a huge mistake on Messiah's part. Messiah's the Cassiopeia player. He's gonna back off. No, I believe that they can go for Baron at this point, because World Elite have lost their AP carry. Score is 10-5, but it doesn't matter because this is a 45. There's very little that they can do. Baron currently getting extremely low. Careful, Shavana. Vladimir goes down, catches two people. Shavana ults in, tries to steal Baron, but no. Actually, Baron is still alive, and Worldy have just lost three players, and CG get the Baron, and for at least 3 people. And yes, the minions are down, but World Elite have the Baron, they have to go bonus, and half the team has the buff. So this is a positive trade on part for CG. World Elite not looking too strong right now. Yes, they are still at a 3,000 gold lead, just because CG have been grouping up and World Elite have been farming the lanes. But that 3,000 gold lead is not meaning too much right now. World Elite looking to answer by pushing down this tier 2 turret. CG just says, yes, go and take it. It doesn't matter because we got the Baron. We can still defeat you in a team fight. Doesn't matter if you push down our tier 2 turrets. Totally now looking to down the last tier 2 turret, which is at bottom. We'll see if CG decides to defend this or if they're just going to give it to them for free. Looks like they're going to give it to them for free. Possibly. Okay. Oh, and turret is very low, but Rise wants to jump on them. Shirelli is being popped, I believe. Yes, that's a Shirelli's on Taric. Souls being thrown down by World Elite. Not CG, not going to do anything at this point. World Elite by now realized that CG could possibly win a 5v5 fight. Because 3 of their members have Baron. No point risking it. Dragon is up in about 1 minute, so we're going to see possibly a fight to contest for that too. This is going to be the 4th dragon. So Graves looking to take a red. Yep. Graves with a red buff. Pretty dangerous. Lulu with actually that's about like her second or third oracles. Can't remember, but every time she has died, she has come back with an oracles, and this is a really risky investment because every time she dies, she loses 400 gold, and 400 gold on a small CS support. She has 25 CS so far. 400 gold on a support is a pretty substantial amount. It's like in Dota when you buy 3 gems of True Sights back to back, or 2. It's like the equivalent of having several bracers or like a hyperstone. It's a pretty big deal. Tariq actually also with the Oracle, so World Elite are going to be losing quite a bit of sight. CJ are just going to push this out. Not really going to do anything at this point. There are, like I said, there are no objectives to contest. So both teams are mostly just going to sit around, recall, and farm. Although Baron is up on CG, so they could possibly go on the offensive and push them out, but it seems that they are deciding not to. It could be that they are that they have played against World Elite before, so they are quite scared of them, or they're just generally playing extremely safe. World Elite looking to. Well, no, they have 2 blue buffs, so they wouldn't be looking to steal a blue buff, because they already have 2, one on Corki and one on Cassiopeia. Actually, a blue buff on Kennen wouldn't be too bad because it does increase energy regeneration as well as Kennen's cooldowns. The blue inhibitor has respawn, so World Elite looking to push this down. I'm not sure how CJ are going to apply to this. Oh, they're going to come around the back. Vlad, oh, gets 5 people. Amazing, Vlad. Oh, I was going to pull Lulu. All goes down. Chavan in the middle of everything gets blown up. Cassiopeia dies to Rise immediately. Graves just doing the damages, man. Graves doing so much, and this is it's 1 man down on CG for 4 people on World Elite. Lulu not gonna do anything. Lulu. And that's a Tart Slain to If, so Rise not gonna get the gold from that. But it is technically an ace, and the inhibitor is still up for CG, so CG looking to push this one down and possibly almost win the game. Yep, Graves gonna use his 90% attack speed boost, and Savannah knows she can't do anything about this. You're gonna stay back and allow him to get the inhibitor. So it is an inhibitor down for World Elite, and they are so crippled right now just because of having a 1 inhibitor advantage. Of course, before they did, but both teams had an inhibitor down, so it was equally crippling on both teams and ended up being a no-go on both of them. That's one of the reasons why the game was so passive, because both of them needed to defend their inhibitors. But now only World Elite need to defend, so CG can really use that to their advantage. Well, passive farming going down actually. Both teams do not want to risk having a bad team fight. Pretty interesting, the ward placement that's going down, because both teams have oracles, so they are purposely putting wards in interesting, or should I say like interesting or spots that are extremely difficult to see, or supposed to be extremely difficult to see, because CG just cleared out all of them. Pretty diligent play on part of Tariq, who is Damho, gotta remember his name, and they're looking to poke out the Baron. Cassiopeia's poison does give a little bit of sight, so we're going to see that. I actually don't like the way World Elite split here. If you're watching the minimap, World Elite have like 3 man up here and like 2 of them down there. Shirelli is being popped, but Cassiopeia drops down to slow with the Rylai's, gonna slow all of them in their tracks, rendering Shirelli as useless. But CG are going to go for the Baron, and sorry, that's my alarm. It's for something I can't remember exactly. And CG realized that they do not want to get caught while doing Baron, so they're going to back off and possibly poke this out. CG gonna give the blue buff to Rise. Notice that because blue buff is all the way over there, so World Elite cannot give Cassiopeia blue buff without losing Baron. So this is really advantageous on CG's part. I'm not quite sure what World Elite are doing right now. They should be coming in to challenge the Baron, and CG are gonna back up again. Ooh, but they're gonna initiate. Shirelli's coming in. Shyvana comes in the middle of nowhere. Vlada catches a ton of people. Kenana also catches people. Shyvana in the middle of everything, just doing the damage. As Corki coming in, doing so much damage. Graves goes down. Ooh, Cassiopeia goes down, and Rise is the last. And Rise is the last one. Purple team scoring an ace. 2 for 5. Very strong play by World Elite, initiating really nicely, and they are looking to down the inhibitor. And ooh, wow, they're gonna go straight in for the Nexus turret. 3 people and no minions. Shyvana gonna try to tank this one out. Ooh, YGTM gets slain by the turret. Not really a good job here because Baron is still up and YGTM is the jungler. He's the man with the smite. That's not a very good play. I feel like they should not have done that. They should have just downed the inhibitor and back. That was a classic example of too risky a play on part of World Elite. And now CG notice it's still like 20 seconds onto Shyvana. She's not going to be in position in time to get the Baron, so chances are CG are just going to get the Baron. And there's very little that World Elite can do. I mean, they can try to steal it out, but CG have Oracles and they have Smite. There's no like Lux Laser or Ezreal ult to do anything about it. Yes, and CG get the Baron. This is looking extremely dire for World Elite right now. They are only at a 1.5k goal lead at this stage of the game. 1.5k goal lead is nothing. CG have the Baron and they can easily win a team fight in this area. There is no inhibitor down. Sorry, there's no tier 3 tower, so chances are are gonna give up the inhibitor for free, but they shouldn't let the Nexus go down for free. That's for sure. They're gonna try to poke this out really, really slowly. But CG have Barons, so they have significantly more regeneration. At some point, one of the World Elite members is gonna have to go back. Just because they have much less regeneration than CG, much less damage or sustain. Shyvana gonna get a little bit caught up by the snare here, but they're not gonna jump on Shyvana. She is something of the tank. Tariq stun gonna come into a Graves. See if one of them's gonna jump from pretty soon. Ooh, for getting caught up by the snare, Kenna goes down, Vladimir goes down immediately. Shyvana jumping in, but she gets blown up immediately. Inside getting caught up. Kenna goes down to fight as well, and it's only Corki and Lulu remaining. And I believe it is GG. 3-0 for CG. They're going to go straight in for the Nexus. There's nothing that only 2 members of World League can do at this point. And yes, that's it. GG, guys. And CG wins. Very strong game on part of both teams. I guess the lesson to bring from this game would be to show that your team can win all the lanes and actually steal buffs early and take all the dragons, but late game, if you're not winning the team fights, if you're making mistakes, then your team can still lose. Americans have a term for it. It's called game throw. Basically, if one player in the late game makes one huge crucial mistake, throws away the whole game, automatic lose. You just lost 40 minutes of a pub time and whatever IP gain you could have lost. But more importantly, you have sustained a loss, and that's not good. So that's all for my commentary. Like I said, this is my first commentary, and there will be no editing, and I have not seen this game before, so this is a really, really raw shoutcast. But if I'm going to be casting the tournament, that's what I'm going to have to do. So this is an example of my shoutcasting at its absolute rawest. No practicing, no video editing, just me, my voice, and a YouTube video. So regardless, that's all. I had a lot of fun casting this game, and thanks for watching, guys.